Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are we doing today? I know there are a few people that are going to be coming on. So let everybody come on. As you're coming on, let us know where you're coming in from. And we will get this showboat rolling. Morning from California. Welcome. How's it going this morning? Good morning, King Me, North Carolina. We're waiting for Sam. She is going to be a little bit late, but I think we'll see her very shortly. So, yeah, sorry about the late night, guys. I know you guys were probably not expecting that. But it was definitely worthwhile, I think. So, good morning, Joe Glenn. Welcome. But, yeah, anyways, so I see people are coming in, and we're going to really jump in and start hammering on a little bit of liberal BS. But I think it's just the right time to call out Republican rhinos for who they are. So this morning, we got notice that Liz Cheney was actually ousted as the third in the Republican Party, the third highest slot in the Republican Party as the GOP conference chair. Quite honestly, I think it's absolutely a good thing for people. I think it's a good thing for the United States. When you have rhinos and Republicans who want to continue to perpetuate war and strife amongst people, we have to call them out and we have to remove them where necessary. I think that happened. Next, we have John Thune on the Senate side, Mitch McConnell on the Senate side. We also have Mitt Romney. All those guys can go. And yes, I will call out John Thune. He is a senator from my state, so I don't really care. He's a swamp creature. He sucks up when he needs to, and he bashes when it feels relevant and necessary. But yes, I do notice we have some trolls that are subscribing to the channel, so they know that when we go live. So when we were live last night, we had a Chelsea Clinton troll.
I liked that troll.
Yes, they actually subscribe to our channel.
Really?
So they will be back.
We're gonna call them Chelsea.
Yeah,
they're not Pines; they're Chelsea.
Yep, exactly. And I'm glad to see you're wide awake because I definitely called you. You were definitely not wide awake.
I know. I was like, "What the heck?" I set my alarm. I set it for 6 p.m.
Oops. Whoops.
Yep.
I think you were planning on sleeping for 18 hours.
Pretty sure my body was.
Because when you answered the phone, it sounded like you were crying.
I wasn't. It was just that like first thing in the morning, they were like, "What the heck's going on? I don't understand." But this thing is making a sound. So Janice, I done primping. Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of primping that went on this morning, by the way. Just sorry. Y'all get me like this. It's all that's going to happen.
Yeah. So, anyways, I did actually reach out and contact Enbridge, and who is one of the largest suppliers of oil and gas and fuel reserves in the Midwest and to the Pacific. Good morning, Guy. And they basically said they have 247 computers, which are command and control computers, that have been infected with the DarkSide ransomware. They have 48 hours to either come up with the money to pay the ransom, which is like $1.6 billion, or they lose control of their system. So do I see something happening in a very short order in regards to gas prices across the United States, period? Yes. Line 5, Canada is shutting down Line 5 as well, which is a good source of oil into the U.S. Well, what's that going to do is going to cause our prices to go up too. So all in all, we're going back to the Obama era where our gas prices are nearing $5 a barrel or $5 a gallon. What will it do for our own production? Well, Biden has already implemented a policy stating he's not going to allow drilling and exploration on federal land. So it's going to impact all of us. I think Sam might have to sell her house so she can move closer to work, just so she can survive.
I am not selling this place. I'm gonna be buried in the backyard. I'm not selling this place, but it does look like I might be like getting an apartment or something.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna have to.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be able to afford to travel back and forth.
Mm-mm. Well, afford is not even the issue. It's right now what we're looking at is I'm about 100 miles from work. Right now what we're looking at is there physically enough gasoline to be able to put it in my tank and make it all the way to work or from work?
Yeah, and some people are saying, "Oh, it's just going to last a couple days." Guys, the DarkSide ransomware wasn't developed just to cause chaos like this. The original actual architecture for the software was written by the CIA and the NSA. We use the software to go after terrorists. If we could use it to go after terrorists, you think it might have the ability to be used against the United States?
Okay, so Shane, I had a thought.
Oh, you're thinking now. Okay.
Yes, and you know how I like to dig a rabbit hole and then jump right down it, right? So, what if this series of cyber attacks against our pipelines is orchestrated with some either the helping hand or just the wink and blessing of our government in order to get our pipelines to oust their own software and implement a new software, a rescue software that would be supplied by our government, which would just basically be like complete backdoor access to everything that goes on in all of our pipelines.
That's what we do.
Yeah, I mean, it's very, Bill Gatesian, isn't it? Create the problems.
The thing is
solution.
all of this stuff comes straight out of the CIA playbook. CIA, NSA, naval intelligence, military intelligence. This is how we topple governments. You go in with a ransomware or a cyber attack, implement a ransomware, shut down their computers, corrupt them, and then offer them the solution.
Yeah, I mean, and I know it's a little
conspiracy theories, but
yeah.
when people think about conspiracy theories, so conspiracy theories alone by themselves, they sound like they're crackpot theories. But if you actually look, name some of the conspiracy theories that have been out there. And good morning, Alpha Wolf. And yeah, Patriot Lady, Patty.
Like all your things like Project Paperclip and Project Bluebird and I'm not all those things.
All the people have been very much into. Like they don't realize it, but then you find out later on, or they're told that it's just a conspiracy theory. Turns out it's true. Operation Mockingbird, just a conspiracy theory. Turned out to be true.
Is Bluebird the one about the aliens? Or am I just making that up? Or did I see it on?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
And there's going to be some stuff that I won't
talk about
anyway. So,
okay.
But
I probably.
I mean, you look at 9/11. Everybody talks about conspiracy theory, but you actually look at the 9/11 Commission report, and it only answers 2 of the many questions that happened, and the answers themselves are wholly inadequate. Like why were the beams supposedly melted when jet fuel, when their melting point is 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit, and jet fuel burns at 3,500? How did they just melt? Stuff like that. So structural design things, conspiracy theories, JFK assassination. You start looking at the JFK assassination files, which are openly available, except for 2, and they're critically important. The 2 files that are not listed and are not available, they are not going to be ever available.
Because they implement the government or somebody that the government doesn't want implicating.
So when you start looking at all the stuff and conspiracy theories and all the garbage that, like the mainstream media calls it, conspiracy theory garbage, a lot of it has been proven true. So is it that far off to say that the government may have had a hand in shutting down a pipeline? Not too far off, because I can tell you there are 3 instances where the exact scenario happened.
Okay. Patriot Lady, that's interesting. I don't know. I think they would first have to convince the U.S. that Trump was president for all this time.
That technically is not possible. Because in order for that to be the case, Trump would have to be the sitting executive in the Oval Office the entire time. If he was ousted by a fraudulent vote, and I have to be careful because the powers that be at YouTube, they really like to censor what I have to say in regards to that. But there is no way that they could actually do that legally because he was not a sitting executive.
However, we've all seen their track record with legal proceedings.
Yeah. But
yeah, but so that's my take on this this whole the pipeline thing. That we're going to see a series of pipelines go down, and it's because this ransomware is really just like government blast or government wink and a nod attacks on our infrastructure in order to incite panic and to facilitate the introduction of actual government malware, but that's updated and easy for them to use to be put in place of the existing computer structure.
And it's kind of interesting because I was looking at but right now I use YouTube as a way to promote my own platform, Fullstream.live. So I have to be careful until we get the subscriber or until we get the viewers and everything over on Fullstream.net, Fullstream.live. Once that happens, we can shut them off and not have to worry about it.
Alpha Wolf Mama, the Michigan governor is getting ready to shut down the pipeline that comes from
Canada. Canada has already announced it.
Whitmer is just a garbage bag of a human being.
But
I tell you what,
Canada said that since they're sending too much oil to the U.S.
Yes, actually, I'd heard something about that. Something about the refineries themselves are going to have to curtail the shipments coming in because the refineries can't get the shipments out because fuel is not available to the truckers and to the the transport industry to be able to send these trucks full of whatever out to wherever. But here's the thing: if you've got a truck full of gasoline or a truck full of diesel, and you can't find any, like a tanker of diesel, and you're like, geez, how do I get this tanker truck of diesel to the gas station? Because darn it, there aren't any gas stations with diesel in them. Gosh, what a conundrum. I can't figure out what to do. Doesn't it seem like you would just take like 100 gallons of diesel out of that truck, stick it in your truck, and drive? If we're talking about a finished refined product. And then I realized that won't work for every step of the chain, but that seems like it would work for the last step of the chain.
Yep.
So, I don't know.
I'll give you a second. I'm sending something to somebody. I will be back. If you want to answer questions, whatever,
Mm, sure.
bow out for a few minutes.
Okay. So questions, y'all. And I hope they're about conspiracy theories because I'm actually good at conspiracy theories. Updates and like current events, yeah, but conspiracy theories, I can cook up some conspiracy theories. So what you got for me? Let's see. Satan and his elites had 3 military helicopters fly over here in Southwest Virginia. No military bases around us. Okay. They could be doing reconnaissance. They could be looking for pot farmers. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot for that one. I'm sorry. I know. But conspiracy theories are fun. Oh, ice. I'm just chewing on some ice because I chew on ice. I love it. Update on the Arizona audit. That would be great. I don't have one, but that would be something that we should ask Shane when he gets back. Let's see. Yeah, ice. Don't y'all chew on ice? It's wonderful. It's got a very satisfying crunch to it. Mm-hmm. The virus. Everyone thought I was nuts back in the. Yeah, I know. People thought we were. Yeah, people thought we were all nuts. I think they still do, though. To be fair. Oh yeah, you feel that Biden administration had something to do with pipeline being shut down, using a hack to blame? Absolutely. Um, I think this has been part of their game plan for a while. It's a beautiful way to do it. Now, think about, let's say you wanted to control New York City. What is the single best way to control New York City as far as to control where the people go, what they do, and to incite fear and panic? It's a city that runs almost exclusively on the subways and the taxi system, right? Remove the taxis, shut down the subways. All of a sudden, you have taken New York City and you have ground it to a halt. You've stopped everything there. People in New York City would do anything to get it back. You're basically holding a city hostage. That's all that's happening here, I think. That's what's going on here. I think it is a way to hold the country hostage. Um, and that is how you shut down a country. You shut down their fuel supply, you shut down their mobility, and you shut down their ability. Mobility is not just mobility as in escape, as in, a form of egress. Mobility is your ability to go get things that you need. If you don't have gas, you can't go to Walmart. Wouldn't matter because Walmart didn't have any trucks coming into it. I mean, you shut down an economy when you shut down the pipeline and the fuel system and the fuel supply. So it seems like this could be a way for them to shut down the economy in a way that they failed to do with the virus, because people were hip to it, and honestly because they underestimated the intelligence of the American public. They fed us a line of crap that wasn't very well thought through, and wasn't very well presented, and really wasn't good science in the first place. So when people spotted it, they opted to not buy into the crap. This is something you don't have to buy into the crap. It doesn't matter. You still can't get fuel to put in your car, even if you know where the fuel supply shortage is coming from. So this is a mechanical, it's a mechanical device to stop the movement of the average American system, a citizen rather. Sorry, it's still a little early. That's my theory. Yes, no trucks, no store shelves, lack of food, more tensions, people get more desperate. Um, yeah, shut us down for 2 months. Here's the thing. Texas, what if Texas earlier this year was a trial run for this? It was really easy, it was convenient, it was winter. Um, we already know that we have the ability to manipulate the weather to some extent. This isn't new. This isn't new news. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is something that they have been telling us they have the ability to do for years. Now, I wouldn't say that it's precise in any way, but they have an ability to affect weather. We operate on this premise. Um, so what if they just affected it to such an extent as to cause a series of events that would cause the power grid to collapse in Texas? Texas is a pretty good representative of the country at large. It's big. It's got a lot of diversity as far as rural versus urban. There is actually a huge independency component of Texas. So they could shut down Texas's grid without so much affecting all of the rest of the US. They could do it by implementing a weather pattern in over Texas. And Texas is big enough that it could be a weather pattern over Texas that doesn't also affect most of the rest of the US. And it would let them dry run this, trial it, see what happens when you do that. See how the population reacts. See if they can actually create that kind of havoc. And you know what? They found they sure can. That's another one of my theories. Hope you like it. Yeah.
Okay, I missed quite a bit of that. So
Oh, that's okay. I went down a rabbit hole, and while I was there, I found another rabbit hole. And so we were going through that. And then there was this other rabbit hole, and we explored that.
so you started to do what the Circleback girl does. So you were just chasing rabbit holes until you started chewing your own tail.
Pretty much. Although I'm telling you, I'm on to something here. It was the whole this is a way to take control of the power grid, because when you control the power grid, you can control the mobility of a nation. The power grid, rather, take control of the fuel supply. When you control the fuel supply, you control the ability of a nation
to move.
Yes. Yep. So that is both your method of egress and your method of self-sustainability. And what was a dry run.
Well, while I was doing what I was doing, and I apologize, I'm not going to share the details.
Thanks.
There's breaking news. So they just released the numbers for the inflation rate.
Oh.
We're not at a stagnation anymore. We're at an inflation rate of 4.2%.
Okay. So for frame of reference, what was the inflation rate during the Great Depression?
Good question. I'm not 100%.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I will find out what the inflation rate was.
4.2% is a fucking lie. They cut everything out of the consumer price index in order to come up with that number.
Okay.
It's 4% if you don't want food or fuel or electricity or healthcare or anything.
Are you hearing this? That I have a contributor. I have a side seat driver who's contributing, but it's good contribution. Did you hear that, Shane?
No.
Okay. So he said that the that 4% is a lie. He said they had to cut everything out of what? Out of the consumer price index to come up with a number of 4%. They had to cut out. It was 4% as long as you don't want food, healthcare, fuel, energy, homes, all that kind of stuff.
And if you look at true inflation, you're talking probably the same as the Great Depression. The highest it got in the Great Depression was in 1933, and it was 1932 at 10.06%.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you, what was the unemployment rate during the Great Depression? It was like 9%, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 9%. I think it was 9%. If you're talking about 9% unemployment, did that kind of economic damage. So what is our unemployment rate right now? I don't know. I'm asking you like I don't have a phone here to look this stuff up myself. Oh, did you see that thing I sent you about India? The bodies washing up on the Ganges in
Yeah,
India?
I did.
That's terrible. All right, so current
Okay, so peak global unemployment during the Great Depression was 24.9%.
Oh, it was 24.9%. Oh, shoot. Okay. So that's
So,
definitely wait a minute, peak global.
yep.
What about US unemployment? I think it says we're currently at 6.1%.
So I think it peaked out at 21.7%.
Okay, so 21.7. Okay, so we're not even close to that. This right now, this thing that says there's what is this? The Bureau of Labor Statistics. I'm guessing they probably a pretty up-to-date source on labor. It says that our current, as of April 2021, we are at 6.1%. So we're at 1/4 of the unemployment rate. Now, here's the thing. This unemployment rate, though, this is the people who are unemployed who have filed for unemployment or who are actively seeking a job. Isn't that what that means? Isn't that what those numbers come to? It's not.
After a certain number of months, they actually no longer count towards unemployment. So they can usually the unemployment numbers they attribute those to new unemployment filings and different things like that. But yeah, my cute little co-host decided to come join me again this morning.
It'd be very low if people actually get off their butts. Well, yeah. Oh, so there's the push from a couple of the state governors to end federal benefits for basically end federal
benefits for people who are healthy and able to work.
Yes. Exactly.
But are you gonna say hi to everybody?
Yeah.
Say hi.
Hey. What you doing? You helping Daddy today? Yeah. Wow. What you got? Is that good? Does that taste good?
As I sit here watching traffic on I-40 West in Flagstaff. Kate, you're like drooling all over me. Sorry. There's going to be a lot of people upset with no fuel. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the I-40 bridge in Memphis apparently is down as well.
And
I get that that's, a couple miles over from the I-40 situation in Flagstaff. But I was reading this morning, it says that there is a crack in the bridge. That's a major bridge. That is the from what I understand, that is the main bridge that goes from across the Mississippi from Memphis to was it West Memphis, Arkansas, Marion, Arkansas, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Winks, there are no. Okay, so here's the other thing, Winks. There are no fuel shortages. I've also heard that the shortage is due to hoarding instead of to the pipeline shutdown. And we figured they were going to start blaming this on hoarding at some point. Yeah, I know you were joking, but I like that you brought it up because it allowed me to segue into this. We figured that they were going to start blaming this on hoarding. First of all, hoarding is, really define hoarding. I guess if you rent a warehouse in order to purchase, 10,000 packages of toilet, all the toilet paper available in the area, so that you can then sell the toilet paper at $10 a roll. Okay, yeah, that might be called hoarding. It also might be called an investment. I'm not going to judge on that one. What I am going to say is pulling up to the gas station with 15 red gas cans and filling them all up. That's not hoarding. That is not. You got the money and you're spending it on gas. That is you are spending your money that you earned, and you are investing that money instead of in a new television or a new subscription to something stupid, or a new electronic spying device. You are opting to invest that money in fuel resources. That is completely capitalism. That is not hoarding. It is not. And vilifying that sort of behavior is what they are going to do. Vilifying that sort of behavior is one of the hallmarks of socialism. It is.
I like Patriot Lady. To hell with a hoarding bit. Tell them you're a Mormon. It's within your religious beliefs.
Right? Exactly. Oh, there are some hoarding stories. One of them was sent to me by a family member who lives in the much closer to the colonial coastal states than I live. They're being hit pretty hard by the pipeline shutdown. There is almost no gasoline. So yesterday, when they went to fill up at some stations, they had to go to a number of stations to find one that was open. And one of them said that they pulled into a gas station, looked at the and it had some lines, but people were still there filling their tanks. Looked at the price on the pump, it was $27 a gallon, and people were filling their tanks at $27 a gallon. They noticed that there was a gas station across the street with no lines, and it was still open and lit up. So they pulled over there. It was $300 a gallon. Now, to be fair, nobody's filling up at that gas station, but that's hoarding. There's another method of, I guess you would call it hoarding, that is arguably more ethical, I guess. That's gouging. You're right. That's the term I was looking for, gouging. That is arguably more ethical. It's the practice of turning down the speed on the pumps, the speed at which they dispense the gasoline. So where normally it'd take you 2.5 minutes to fill up your tank, now it will take you 20 minutes to fill up your tank. Same amount of gas going in your tank, but they've got it turned way down. And I think that's just to discourage people from filling their tank. but that's legal. We're gouging, I believe. Is gouging legal? Yeah.
There are laws against it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
God bless the gougers.
Yeah.
They're the only ones who are going to have fuel when everyone else is out. And yet, then everyone would be grateful for them.
There is no that's the gougers will have fuel when everyone else is out.
That's funny.
Uh-huh. You know what? You caught us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Plumbers and nurses to hoard the gasoline supply.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm gonna run her to her mom. So
Your mama. Okay. Oh, it's not illegal in Texas. Okay, that's fair enough. I'm sure that it goes state by state. I'm sure it's not federal regulation on that. Wow. Let's see. Don't forget the chlorine. Nurse Bear, is there something going on with chlorine? I haven't heard anything about that. Isn't kitten season 365? I don't understand these comments. I have to say. So if I'm not responding to them appropriately, it's only because I don't get it. Oh, 10 kittens last. I think if we're talking about that, I think COVID is human being season. Like, people have nothing better to do than stay home and have sex. You wouldn't believe how many babies were like born this year. There's a shortage, not of babies. You can't. Okay, you can't pee in the pools. Yes, but hasn't that always been frowned upon? Haven't there always been? When I was a kid, there were those signs at the pools that said you can't pee in the pool. So I'm thinking that not being able to pee in the pools now is not so much a new thing. I don't know.
I
heard
came in on the wrong side of that conversation.
Yeah, you did. All right, but there's a much better like comment here, and it's the Liz Cheney comment.
You know, it's kind of funny if you want to eliminate the fluoride or the fluorine supply. Just say that there's going to be a fluorine shortage. And then everybody and their dog will, all the idiots that don't know what fluorine does, will figure out a way to get a hold of it.
And fortify all their water with
it. I mean, you want to eliminate the drugs on society. That'd
population control there.
That would definitely be population control. I shouldn't suggest that because that is terrible.
Yes, that's terrible. We're not suggesting that people do that. In fact, we're suggesting that we are actively right now suggesting that people don't do that. Please don't buy fluorine and fortify your water with it.
Yeah, fluoride is bad for you. Buy toothpaste. There's going to be a toothpaste shortage.
Yeah, no, not in the South. There's not enough teeth. People don't need it.
Oh, we got a right for parody. I mean, our left-wing troll is back. It's a good thing. It's a good thing they like to stay on topic. But I mean, hey.
All right, you certainly have a one-track mind. Welcome back. Yeah, let's be nice to our troll. That's not very nice. There's fluoride in toothpaste, and I'm hoping that you meant to say toothpaste and not toot.
right for parody. We already discussed that like over a half hour ago. So
Yeah, you came in late.
came in late, so I'm sorry. Oh no, we discussed that right at the beginning.
That must have been sorry, right? I came in late a little bit too, so I guess I covered that when I got here.
Sorry.
Yeah. Toothpaste isn't a thing anymore.
Yeah.
Squirrely.
So I guess we're gonna move into a comedy transition.
Yeah. This is not Johnson and Johnson's hour. We need to stay on some other topic. Oh God.
So did you see that picture of the Minneapolis mayor the other day?
Some young guy wearing like rolled up jeans.
Yeah, the rolled up skinny jeans.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was just like, way to try to get the floodwaters to or the flood pants to come back in style.
Yeah. No camel toes. No camel toes. Yeah, my the high waters, the high water effect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know where anymore. I remember when the capris were really popular for people in school,
Mm-hmm.
and it was quite hilarious
Mm-hmm.
because guys would try to mimic them, and the girls would be like, "Are you freaking stupid?"
Right. And no, King Me, I haven't done a study on what people are doing while staying at home. I will, however, what is it they say? Where there's smoke, there's fire. Where there are babies, there was some a little while back. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But where there are more babies, there's more.
So Sam, have you done a study? Okay, so you kind of were pointing in the wrong direction, but right for parody. Here's the funniest part about it. Trump is still receiving a $400 or $400,000 paycheck every year, or a 200. He's still receiving a six-figure paycheck every year for doing absolutely nothing, while you're sitting there trolling, looking for people to fight with on the government salary. So just pay attention and remember, don't throw stones in a glass house, because eventually the glass house will break.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep our FCC licensing. We're trying. Yes, yes, King Me, I did ignore that comment, and I'm just really kind of trying to keep us from going all the way into the gutter.
I wish I could get paid to troll too. Yeah, I mean, I wish I could on a taxpayer-funded salary.
Right? Be nice.
I mean, if I wanted my government employees to be trolling channels when they're supposed to be working, I think I'd be signing up for a government job.
Mm-hmm. But everybody needs a paycheck, right? We're glad you're opting to spend your time making money here with us.
Hey, pay to troll. Wow, what an honorable job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Trump got paid to troll. He's getting $200K a year to do it for the rest of his life. He must be a better troll than you are. I don't think you're getting $200K a year. Are you? Maybe you are.
Well,
Maybe
he
you
works
are, and
for
I need to my
Right
profession.
Parody supposedly works for the government.
Really? Okay. Well, that's great, right? Again, welcome. I hope you enjoy all this crap we're going to say about you.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny because like income creator or like job creators like myself, we actually work our tail ends off to support the government's excessive spending.
And really, really terrible financial policy, as evidenced by our current government employee.
Yeah, I mean when you may so financial disclosure, my business makes upwards of $1 million a year. That's not profit, that's revenue. Okay. After taxes and all that stuff, I end up bringing home after taxes and materials and all that stuff. I end up bringing home about $65,000 a year. I make so much money supporting a dingbat who wants to come on Republican, a conservative platform, and start trolling. I really think my job or my taxpayer dollars are being put to really good use.
So anyway, does anyone else have any topics of conversation? Because
I love the block button. No more troll comments in my chat feed.
oh, there was something I wanted to talk about yesterday and we didn't actually get to talk about. So the grain shortage.
Yeah.
The grain shortages. So we are looking at some significant grain shortages this year, and I don't imagine those grain shortages will be helped by the fact that we are currently in a transit shortage, if we can call it that. We're currently in a situation where we can't move commodities from one area physically to another, but we have an actual grain shortage going on this year in the country. So it looks like on March 16th, China purchased 1.15 million tons of corn from the U.S. 1.15 million tons as of March of this year. Now, that is significant because prior to this, in the 2021 year, from September 1st of 2020 to March 4th of 2021, China has purchased a total of 19,894,600 tons of American grain, corn. In the 2019 to 2020 year, China purchased 61,000 tons. 61,000. That was up to March 4th of 2020. So to be fair, you've got all of March, April, May, June, July, and September. So you've got 6 months, a 6-month deficit in there, a 6-month time frame in there where China's purchase is not recorded, or I don't have the info on it. But even if you say in the remaining 6 months of the year, China purchased, 4 times that much, that's still what 6 times 4, that's 240,000, not 19 million. So their grain consumption, or their grain purchasing of American grain has gone up like by decimal points. China's replaced Mexico as the largest buyer. Mexico, their purchase is at 12,142,800 tons of American corn. So this is information. This isn't brand new news, by the way. This is not brand new news. I have been looking at these numbers and watching the grain sales since like February and March of this year. In July of last year, China purchased in 1 month, July, they purchased as much grain as they had in the previous year, not the previous July, the previous year. They purchased that much in July of last year. In, I want to say January of this year, in a single weekend, they purchased more grain than they had in July of last year in that month. So China is looking at a huge, they're anticipating a huge famine. They're anticipating it in a way that we are not. And I don't know if that's because China is watching the weather patterns in a way that we aren't. Or if China is, have you seen the Three Gorges Dam? That Three Gorges Dam is right over top of a major agricultural area in China. If that Three Gorges Dam goes, that is a huge, huge swath of their grain production territory that is underwater. So they'll lose all those crops. But also, China has been disrupting the world shipping routes.
Hey, I'm gonna address something real quick.
Okay.
So, Alex, I sent you a message on full stream. Go ahead and give me a call. But good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't put your family in any adverse danger.
Good night, Alpha. Mm-hmm.
Need to,
yeah, take care of your family, Alex. Right. So China has been buying up empty shipping containers, empty ones. They have been buying them at such a rate that that companies are having difficulty getting shipping containers, because shipping containers, you generally rent the use of a shipping container on a ship. They bring in the shipping container, you put your freight into it, it is loaded on the barge with all the other shipping containers, and it goes off to whatever country in the world that it's bound for. There is a significant difficulty in getting those items across oceans right now because the shipping containers themselves are in short supply. China has been buying them, and not like buying containers full of stuff. They are buying empty shipping containers. Why? I don't know. Because grain would arrive in China in a shipping container, so it's not to store their grain that they're importing. They're probably not anticipating producing a whole bunch of their own grain, and even if they are, they have facilities there to store their own grain. So why are they buying up empty shipping containers? That's interesting. My theory, maybe they're buying them up just to keep them from being available to other people. I don't know. But, and this is something you're going to find on CNN, because it's like, no, it's a big old nothing burger. Nobody cares about it. But the shipping industry cares about it. That's why you can find stuff like this in shipping news. The agriculture industry cares about it. That's why you can find stuff like this in agriculture news. Political news, they don't care about it. Nobody cares about it. Not even conservative news. They don't care about it. You have to look where the stuff is. Something else you have to look at is climate news. As much as we have a weather channel, that's not really what I'm talking about. You need to look at like science news as far as the solar system, things, and by that I mean literally the solar, our sun. You need to look at solar activity. We are currently, let's see, we're going into the grand solar minimum. They expect that to last from the years 2020 to about 2053. And during the last one, basically the grand solar minimum, it's going to be a period of reduced sunspot activity. This is a known cycle of our sun. This is not something that is new. It's not even something really that's catastrophic. It's just something that we haven't really noticed. What we have noticed is that if you go back and look at the climate history here on Earth, every 150 years or so, you experience a very low spot, 30-ish years of really low temperatures.
Sorry, I just sent somebody to timeout.
Okay. We have mini ice ages. I know y'all have all heard of mini ice ages, things like that. Okay. So the idea being we're entering a period of time here, the next extended period of time where we're going to have some cooler temperatures. And 1 or 2 degrees Celsius doesn't seem like much of a cooler temperature, but it is enough to shorten the growing season. And right now we rely on bumper crops. We rely on them pretty decently heavily to not just provide for the grain for our country, but to provide for enough grain to sell to other countries. So what we have going on right now.
Blank page. I sent you a message I sent you a whisper. So I would like to sit down and actually discuss some things with you. So feel free and reach out.
Yeah. So right now we've got a couple things going on. We're going into a year, and I think it's, we're into it. It's not like it's coming. We're here. We entered it last year. So we're going to be seeing shorter and shorter growing seasons. If the Earth follows the pattern that the Earth has always followed. And there's a guy called the Ice Age Farmer. He goes way into this, but he tracks weather patterns all the way back through like the 1200s, going back and looking at historical records. So if the Earth follows this climate trend, then we're entering a period of shortened growing seasons. Shortened growing seasons means fewer crops. It means less food, and it can mean famine. We're entering one of those, and we're selling off our own grain at a massive, massive, massive rate. That is alarming. So first of all, what's going on in China? Why are they buying grain? Are they buying grain because they know they've got a crack in their dam, even though they say they don't have a crack in their dam? And they're preparing for the dam to go and their own crops to be drowned? Or are they buying our grain because they're also looking at these grand solar minimums, the Maunder minimums, things like that, and they're saying, wow, we're about to not be able to grow any grain at all. We need to buy grain from people who aren't looking at this and who are willing to part with their grain because they don't know that they're about to starve to death. That's a little dramatic. Don't take it that far. Or is this the U.S. government purposefully allowing are they aware of this and they don't care, or are they aware of this and they know this and they're still going to allow our grain to leave our shores because it will further impair our economy, further cause strife, damage, famine, further cause loss of life? I don't know. I know that I don't trust our government enough right now to put that past them, but we need to be prepared that, a food shortage could very well be coming. So my best suggestion, to everyone is be prepared. You need to have some stores of food at your house. And I'm not talking about 2 weeks. I'm not. Because even if you can get it later on, it's going to cost you handsomely. And that's on top of the fact that the U.S. government is actively devaluing your dollars right now by printing money. Yes, plant a garden. Yeah. In case anybody has missed it, plant a garden. Victory gardens are a thing. They were a thing in World War II. They're still supposed to be a thing. That is what you should be doing. You should be having your own garden going on right now. Seriously, right now. Plant potatoes. Plant things that can make. Potatoes are good. Potatoes are a good source of iron, and they're a good source of carbohydrates. So that's cheap energy. But you're going to also want to plant things that will give you an array of vitamins. So green peppers have vitamin C. broccoli, although it's not quite as easy to grow, with some calcium and things like that. Look up vegetables based on their vitamin and mineral content and select those vegetables from those vegetables, what things will be easy to grow in your area, because you don't want to just grow vegetables on the basis of calorie. Most of us, certainly myself, are in a position where we can afford to lose some body mass. What we can't afford to lose is our vitamin balance, our vitamin competency in our bodies. So you want to. I'm less worried in my stores about cheap energy carbohydrates, which I do have those stored up. What I'm more worried about is having an array of natural in the food vitamin supplementation, which isn't really supplementation, it's just vitamin source. FYI. Tomatoes, great. Lycopene, it's good. You need it. Peppers, cucumbers, yes. Yeah. Okay, so plants to recommend. Here's the thing. I know what plants that I would recommend for my area, but the US we have growing zones. We have growing zones and we have soils. And again, you need to look up your soil, find out what kind of soil you have, find out what growing zone you're in, because those two things will be a huge factor as far as what you can grow and what you can grow well. Because growing plant A, you're trying to grow plant A in your soil, while plant A might be a fantastic source of like 10 vitamins and minerals. If it's not going to grow well in your soil, you're going to have such a poor harvest that it's not going to make much of an impact. You would probably want to go with plant B that has fewer, it's a less rich or potent source of these vitamins and minerals, but it grows prolifically in your environment. You will do better overall with plant B because you will get more of them. So, that's kind of a long-winded way of saying I really can't necessarily make a recommendation across the board. What I can make a recommendation for are things like things high in vitamin C. Your vitamins A, D, E, and K, you really don't get those. A, D, E, and K are going to be they're fat-based vitamins. For those, buy a vitamin supplement. For your other ones, supplement them through plants. What are those little? Shoot. There's some grains. Nuts and grains are pretty good sources of things like zinc. But for things like vitamin C, citrus. Why do you make me think this early in the morning? Go ahead and look at your vegetables. Carrots, onions. Actually, onions are really beneficial for a whole host of things. Carrots, onions, potatoes are good cheap energy if you can do them. They actually grow pretty decently in containers. Cucumbers, tomatoes. I'm a big fan of tomatoes and peppers. They're good sources of a lot of vitamins and minerals. Don't forget your green leafies. Green leafies are actually really, really important. Be aware that if you're on some of your anticoagulants, you have to be vigilant about how much of your green leafies you take, because they can interact with your anticoagulants. But green leafy vegetables are pretty important. They really are. And fiber. We don't get enough fiber. Fiber is important. I would say, plant fruit trees, but honestly, fruit trees from the point of planting to the point of fruiting is generally a couple of years. So that would be a fantastic long-term investment. It's not going to feed you this summer. Your best option for that is Freedom Cell cooperation with someone else in your area, someone who is local, who, hey, I've got these plants that I'm really good at growing, and I've got a massive overflow of my harvest here, but I don't have any of this plant. What do you have? Well, gosh, I've got that plant, but I really need some of what you got. That is barter. It's local, community cooperation to share resources. So try that. And hey, if you're someone who has nothing to offer as far as nutrition or gardening goes, but you can say go get big bags of rice and keep them in, containers in your closet, then maybe later on this year when people are like, I need some rice, you can be like, well, I got rice, but I don't have any green peppers. Let's trade. There's that. Yes. Yeah, we need to be self-sustaining. Even if it's self-sustaining personally is great. Self-sustaining in a community is also great. Anything you can do to get yourself off of the dependency on the government is going to be a good thing. Anything you can do. And if you live somewhere where you can bicycle to places, if you live in kind of an urban-ish area, bicycles are great because they don't take any gasoline. You can bike to your farmer's market, shop at your farmer's market. Container plants, yeah. Container plants are great. I've got some container tomato plants. Veggies mixed in with flowers, yes. Okay, so yes, proud. There are a number of vegetable and flower combinations that classically go together in gardening, and it's not just because they're pretty. It's because, for example, marigolds and tomatoes. Tomatoes have some specific predators, insect predators, that the marigolds will repel. That's why you tend to plant those together. Yeah, marigolds. I have marigolds with my tomatoes. That's what those are. But look at your like farmers' almanacs. Go back to even to your old wives' tales. Generally, if there's an old wives' tale about you always plant these things together, there's a reason for it. There really usually is. I hate aphids.
But yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, I know. That was my little like tangent rant.
Hey.
But
how close are you and Nurse Bear to having your stuff?
I think we've got it. We haven't really tweaked like any. It's not like we haven't tweaked any of it. I think it's ready. It is ready right now. The only barrier I think that we're coming up against is finding a mutual day. Yeah, we're done. We're good to go.
Okay, when we can coordinate a time, let's all three get on the phone and go over it.
Okay.
And we'll get something set up to where we can have that. Tell your brother he's way too tall.
My brother. That was not that was my sister-in-law.
Oh.
And yes.
I can see it in the picture behind you.
Yeah, the shadows.
But yeah, anyways, so we'll get that project done, and then we'll figure out if it's going to be a live session or if it's going to be pre-recorded.
It might almost have to be pre-recorded, I think, just in order to
tie the times together.
Times together, especially considering that we're both in nursing, which means both of our schedules are getting more and more chaotic as it goes.
Yeah, so we'll figure something out. I know I'll be off pretty much all day tomorrow.
Okay.
So
tomorrow.
What's that?
I work tomorrow. I work next 3 days.
Okay, so yeah, we'll mesh the time schedule, and you guys know what time I get off every night that I do work. So
yeah.
But yeah, we'll get together and go over a few things. Kind of go over the plan, and then we'll get that recorded.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a good idea. That's a very good idea. And proud, yes, lime is good for many types of bugs. Just be careful. It can burn the roots on your plants sometimes. So
yeah, that's too strong.
Yeah. yeah, just be some kind of careful with that.
So
Remember
have I
that.
heard about crypto.com? Yes, I have. I haven't really checked it out, so I'll do my homework on it.
Yep.
So, but as always, guys, it is nice to have everybody here. No show tonight. I promise. No late show. Even though we actually did very well yesterday.
You did.
So
Hold on.
Tomorrow we will do 2 shows tomorrow, 2 shows on Friday, and possibly 2 shows on Saturday.
I won't be here for those, y'all. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Work's getting hard again, so I will not be able to carve out time for those.
Yep, they are squirrely. That is absolutely true. But as always, guys, you have a pen and a microphone. Use them. The silent majority can no longer stay silent. God bless you guys. God bless the United States of America. We will see you guys tomorrow morning, 10 a.m.
Bye, everybody.